What's up folks, welcome back to the garage. In this video my goal is to install this air fuel ratio gauge. This is my first one, so I have never ever done this before, so I hope everything goes well. And at first, quick unboxing. From this side we can find the actual gauge. Yeah, and it's digital, so you can't see nothing yet. I will turn this upside down. Here we have instructions. I'll get back that soon. Some material and sticker, of course, that's important. Then we have the sensor and some cable. I think the black one is the ground, the red one might be the power, but this end here goes to the gauge. And then we have the cable from the sensor to the gauge. And then we have the plug, or whatever you call this one. I think there might be the right name for this in the instructions. In theory, this should be quite easy. I hope it really is so easy as I understood. We have the wideband harness, and we have the sensor, and this is a bung, which I have to weld here on my collector. This is one from my 145 Volvo's collector. As you can see, I have done it myself many years ago. So my plan is to make a hole with the step drill about here, and then put the sensor here, but I just have to measure that this fits under the car. In the instructions it says that sensor must be installed greater than 10 degrees. So if there is some water or fuel in the collector, that's why it has to be at least 10 degrees. The connection is quite simple, as I thought. This red one should be connected to ignition switch with the fuse. So I will try to find a good place for this red wire from the fuse box. And the black one is the ground, so it should be easy. All others should be optional. There's optional serial output, or optional IEM net, and these are, if I understand correctly, they are like data logger things, but I don't need that kind of options at this point. I just need to know the air fuel ratio from my Volvo's engine. My collector is not perfect. I have done this collector about 20 years ago in my father's garage in the middle of winter, so don't judge me. You can see the gearbox bracket here, so I will put the sensor about here. The floor is there, so I think I should put it like 45 degrees in that direction on my way. But next I will take the collector away, and then I will drill the hole for the sensor. Job done. It's not beautiful, but it works. And I won't show you my weldings, so the camera won't go nearer than this. Next, I will put the collector back on, and I finish the whole exhaust. After that, I will start installing the gauge and do the wiring. Sensor wiring done. This cable is coming from the sensor. It's here on the dash, but my plan is to remove this cover, which I have done by myself. There's a ugly hole for the radio, so I will drill a hole here on this panel, and I will install the gauge here, so it will be quite easy to hide those cables. And now I am looking for power for my gauge, and I actually have found a good place for that. If you can see, if I touch here, it shows 0, and I turn the ignition on like that, and now we have some juice. Okay, the ground is not perfect, so it shows only about 10 volts, but it's there. So now I just have to buy a 5 amps fuse, because I think all these fuse, at least what the fuse are saying, they are bigger than 5 amps, so I just have to buy one smaller fuse, 5 amps for the gauge, just in case. Connections are ready. Now I got the fuse box. There's a 5 amp fuse there, and this is coming from the from the fuse box, and the red wire goes there. And I took the ground from the same place that there's the glove box light, so it should be quite good place to get the ground. I haven't done this hole for the radio. Previous owners have done it, but I remember that I made this nice plate here to cover the hole. But yep, but next I will test the gauge. I will connect the gauge to these connectors and switch the power on, so then we see that is the gauge working, and after that I will drill a hole for the gauge to this plate. Yes, now I have connected the gauge. It was quite easy because they fit only like this. It's impossible to mix the cables. I have my main power on, and next I will turn the ignition key. We shall see what is gonna happen. Nothing. Yes! Oh, ooh! It says heat. Well, maybe in this point I should read the manual. But as you can see, I think it's heating the sensor, and it's ready for use. And this gauge is already calibrated at the factory, so it should be ready to use. But next I will start drilling the hole to this plate, and then we will fit the gauge, and after that we will do a test start. Yes, as you saw, when I was in idle, it was lean, because it was a little over 20, even 23, so it's very lean. It should be like 14.7 or 14 and a half. That would be very good. And if the number is 10.5 or less, it's rich. So it would be perfect to be somewhere there. As you saw, when I push a little bit throttle, it went to the right area. And I think that those Webers works like that, that if I put about 3000 RPM, the jets are working and like they should, but in idle, the idle jets and my tuning is not correct, so I have to focus on the idle, but I will do a whole video about that. But now we managed to assemble the gauge and it seems to work. Yes, now we have working air-fuel ratio gauge. It will help me a lot when I start to tune this engine again. There is enough cables that I can move the gauge here on the engine bay, so it's much easier to tune the carburetors when I can see the gauge and I can turn the screws at the same time, so it will be much easier to do that like that. Thanks for watching. Please give me a thumbs up, comments down below, that would be great, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it right away, and also remember to press the bell, and also remember tell your friend about this channel, so we will get 500 subscribers as soon as possible. Thanks for watching and see you soon.